If you have heavy clay soils, invasive tree roots, or just a tiny backyard garden that you'd like to turn into something productive and beautiful, raised garden beds just might be your very best permaculture gardening tool. Today I'd like to talk to you about when they are, and perhaps when they're not, your best gardening tool for your own backyard. Hi, I'm Carol from Almost 2 Acres. Today I'm going to answer this question: why garden in raised beds?
Okay, so let's set the scene. You've got a piece of land. Maybe it's almost 2 acres, maybe it's a quarter-acre suburban lot, and you want to grow food and flowers together in a way that actually looks intentional and works with nature instead of against it. That's the permaculture cottage garden dream, and raised beds, when you use them thoughtfully, fit right into that vision in a way that surprises a lot of people who think permaculture means only in-ground, no-touch, purely wild-looking spaces. Let me show you the real reason raised beds make sense, starting with the most common problems they actually solve. The number one reason people turn to raised beds is soil, specifically bad soil. And I don't mean not perfect soil, I mean the kind of soil that absolutely refuses to cooperate. Heavy clay that pools water after every rain and then bakes into something resembling ceramic in a drought. Compacted soil from years of foot traffic, construction, or just decades of neglect. Soil so full of tree roots that you can barely get a trowel in before you hit something. When you build a raised bed, you are essentially creating a fresh start. You fill it with the soil mix you choose, and from day one, your plants have something to work with. That's enormously important, especially in the early years when you don't yet have time to build soil from scratch through years of composting and cover cropping. The second big problem raised beds solve is contamination. If your property was previously a commercial site, an old orchard that was heavily sprayed, or a home with a lot of old paint around the foundation, you may have lead, arsenic, or other contaminants in your native soil. Raised beds with clean fill give you a safe growing environment for your food while you work on remediating the ground underneath over time. Drainage is another one. Most vegetable crops and a huge number of cottage garden flowers do not like sitting in wet soil. Raised beds drain more freely than in-ground planting because the soil structure stays looser and water moves through it more efficiently. That also means your soil warms up faster in spring, which is a really big deal if you're in a cooler climate and you want to get a jump on the season. And then there's weed pressure. Now, I'm not going to tell you raised beds are weed-free because nothing is, but they do give you a real advantage in the beginning. You're starting with clean soil, you have defined edges, and the paths between beds become your weed management boundary. Mulch the paths well, and you've created a system that's much easier to manage than open ground. I want to spend a moment on something that doesn't get talked about enough, and that is accessibility. Gardening is a lifelong activity, and our bodies change. I can attest to this from my 64 years of experience. Whether you're dealing with a bad back, arthritic knees, hip replacements, or just the reality that bending down to ground level for hours at a time and then trying to get back up isn't something you want to do anymore, raised beds change what's possible. A bed that's 18 to 24 inches tall means you can sit on the edge and garden comfortably. A bed built to the right height with solid sides means a wheelchair user can reach the center of the planting without assistance. This isn't a small thing. This is the difference between someone being able to continue growing their own food or having to give it up entirely. Permaculture talks a lot about designing for people and for the long term, and accessible garden design is exactly that. Now let's talk about beauty, because this is the cottage garden side of things. One of the things I love most about raised beds in a cottage style layout is how naturally they lend themselves to a structured but romantic look. When you set beds with gravel or bark chip paths between them, add an arch at the entrance dripping with climbing roses or sweet peas, and then fill the beds themselves with a mix of vegetables, herbs, and cutting flowers, what you get looks like it belongs on the cover of a gardening magazine. The edges of the beds become a design element. You can soften them with cascading nasturtiums or trailing thyme. You can tuck pollinator plants like borage and alyssum right alongside your tomatoes and let the whole thing blur together in the most productive, wildlife-friendly way. The structure of the beds gives you that cottage garden sense of order underneath the apparent chaos of mixed planting, which is exactly what makes that style so visually satisfying. Now I want to be honest with you because I think one of the least helpful things that happens in the gardening content world is the idea that raised beds are always the answer for every gardener in every situation. Spoiler alert, they're not. If you have good native soil, and some of you genuinely do, in-ground growing is going to give you plants access to the full soil ecosystem in a way a raised bed simply can't replicate. Deep-rooted plants like fruit trees, asparagus, or large perennials need more depth than any practical raised bed can offer. For those, in-ground is always better. No-dig beds are another option that often gets overlooked. If your soil is workable but needs improvement, laying cardboard down over grass or weeds and building up layers of compost directly on the ground, the Charles Dowding method of lasagna gardening, can create incredible productive growing space at a fraction of the cost of building raised beds. It feeds the soil life underneath, it's accessible, and it can look beautiful in a cottage garden layout too. Interested in looking at some wood and other raised beds that I've had in this video? See my affiliate links in the description. Permaculture as a philosophy really does value diversity, not just in plants, but in methods. Principle 6, use and value diversity. That applies to how you garden, not just what you grow. A property that uses a combination of raised beds for vegetables and annual flowers, no-dig beds for perennial plantings, and in-ground areas for trees and shrubs is going to be more resilient and better designed than the one that defaulted to raised beds everywhere just because it seemed like the easiest choice. Raised beds are a genuinely powerful tool in a permaculture and cottage garden context. They solve real problems. They make gardening more accessible, more productive, and honestly more beautiful when they're done well. But they work best when you choose them intentionally because they're the right fit for your specific soil, your specific site, your specific body, and your specific goals.
In the next video in this series, I'll talk about how to actually design your raised bed layout. It'll look like it belongs in a storybook, but it'll actually be a full food production system. Start thinking about how raised bed gardens could work in your own backyard. Watch the next video, and then let's get growing.